viewers. Hello to our Facebook friends who are tuning in via Facebook, and you listening to the radio station, Radio Today on 1485 medium wave across Johannesburg, across South Africa and Africa on DSTV channel 869, and you can audio stream the radio station by downloading the TuneIn app and looking for Radio Today Johannesburg. We like you to come and join us in studio, however, so if you've made it to Facebook, like John Moslin has, Willi Badenhorst, who's he, Tonya Curry on board, and others who will join us on Around the Block, then welcome. This is your seat. You see, that's where you're sitting, right there. You're almost sitting next to me, but you're jammed in between me and the guests tonight. So let me introduce you to, and you know him as our regular co-host. Willi was asking me earlier, when is it okay to call myself a co-host? Episode 9, I reckon. How's it, Willi?
Hey Tom, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Thanks for having us back.
Yeah, lucky to have you in the studio, and then I'd also like to welcome, here we go, Eben Esterhuizen.
Hello, good evening, thanks for having me.
And Peter Furstenburg.
Hey everyone.
How's it, Peter, and welcome to the studio. Now listen, what these guys build is going to blow your mind. So be prepared to have your mind blown tonight. I was telling everyone a little earlier on that I'm thinking of my first set, and you guys were wondering what you did. So someone's going to start taking bets on when I go and buy my first set. Would you like to know who's on board? Filster?
Yeah, tell us.
Dina Torch is on board.
How's it,
Ralph
Dina?
G. Steele is on board. Zaptoid, hey, Zap is on board. Thomas Dawes is watching out of the Eastern Cape. Jackie Badenhorst is on board. Stephen van der Mav is on board. Ralph says, how's it, Eben? Raymond McPherson has joined us, and more will join us in the next 45 minutes or so that we're on air. What are we chatting about tonight?
We've got some news, but I thought I would focus. We had a couple of weeks ago, who was in the studio who brought some amazing builds? Elmarie and France?
Yes.
And it seemed that the audience liked that more, so we brought Eben and Peter in to talk a little bit about their builds. Peter has brought some mini, I don't know what you'd call these.
Probably like little miniature vignettes.
Yeah, miniature vignettes, some of his modulars, and Eben has got, holy moly.
Some incredible stuff on the
incredible engineering, yeah.
Right, tell you who else has joined us. Rian Pretorius has just joined, Impy Bricks have joined, Clark Battison is watching, and more. There are a lot of people in the room tonight. How's it, and welcome to Around the Block, your weekly dose of Lego. Now, I didn't think I'd be saying that 9 weeks ago. Welcome to your weekly dose of Lego. And I actually didn't think I'd be as involved as I have been. Gone to a Lego expo, starting to think about Lego when I'm sitting at home on the couch now instead of other things. I think I'm starting to itch.
It's
You reckon?
I'd love to see you build your first set.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
It's coming.
So
okay,
just in the news, Tom, we spoke about Lego ideas last week or the week before, and now the Space Shuttle Atlantis, also a build I've been following for a couple of months actually, has achieved 10,000 supporters. This is the latest project to get 10,000 supporters. And it's a feature-rich build. You know, it's got opening payload doors, retractable landing gear. It's a really...
Oh, this is this picture here that I've got.
Yeah, the playability of this model will be through the roof. It has a Canada arm to manipulate cargo.
Yeah.
As was in the previous space shuttle model of probably 10 or 15 years ago. Eben, any idea? When that space shuttle came out?
It was about 15 years ago. Yeah.
Nice display stand.
So this is an idea. Is it ideas?
It's Lego ideas.
So
Yeah.
for the uninitiated, this is a Lego builder, someone like the guys we got sitting in front of us who have decided, I want to create something that I hope Lego will put into production, basically.
Exactly that.
And 10,000 people have got to like it before Lego will consider it.
Yes.
It's more than a like. The process, you know, would ask you, would you be prepared to build the set, or would you be prepared to buy the set? How old are you? What would you spend on it? So Lego uses the ideas platform to gather information about the product and then see if it isn't a viable set to put on the market.
And so they've gone over that mark now. Now you're waiting to see, does this happen?
Yeah. The other thing that was announced this week is the Stranger Things set, the Upside Down. And I haven't been as stoked for a set since the launch of the...
You like this one. Hey? We're busy looking at it on Facebook now.
It seems like a stunning set. The minifigures that they created is so close to the actual characters in the show. It's a tremendous set. Talking about 2,300 odd pieces, 8 minifigures, and we'll be around the $200 price point. So I guess in the region of $3,000 South African. Don't quote me. Should be around there.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second, because I'm going to switch the fan off and shut the door.
Well,
You don't see that at other radio stations. Welcome to Radio Today. Or unless you want to switch the fan off, and you don't see that at other radio stations either. Thank you.
yeah, well done.
That gives me time to say hello to more people who are joining us. Tracy Lombard is on board. Thomas says, show the pic I sent you last time. Sorry. Tracy says, hi. Vanessa Parry's watching. Raymond McPherson says, not long from now you'll have all the sets, Tom. Ralph Steele says, yes, Tom, where's your first set? Jackie says, Tom needs to start at Duplo level.
Yeah.
That's the expert level, hey! Jackie says, I need the Stranger Things set, so this is a problem you've got in the family now.
Well, yeah. So you're probably going to have to buy 3.
Right.
Hopefully more.
Ian van der Walt says, damn, I forgot. Hi, everyone. You made it. How's it, Ian?
Ian, welcome Ian.
Diane Cock is watching. Chris McGee, how's it, Chris? Welcome, and more. And someone wants to see Sig Fig Tom. So here we go. Every week, there I am until I change my hair, which is coming soon. So this will be Sig Fig Tom 1.0. He does a better job than I do sometimes.
Why are you changing your hair?
I don't know. I just want to look
Is this
different.
about your hairdresser that you keep telling?
Yeah, shame. I can't mention her name. It's terrible. I keep saying, but I tell people the hairdresser I go to, and I haven't been there for 8 months. And she says, stop telling people. Like, I don't want people to think like that's my creation. Shame. Shalene Sher from Tanaz.
So let's talk about some builds. Maybe go through these, Peter. Seeing you got, apart from the vignettes, 2 quite large modulars. You want to take us through that?
Sure, yes. Well, first of all, I'm quite new to modular building and to mock building as such. My background has always been collecting Lego and sort of getting, just collecting the sets and really cool sets. And it started with bigger sets and then sort of moved to smaller sets. And the really cool stuff, that's what I tend to focus on ultimately. And then last year, about halfway through the year, someone encouraged me to start building my own stuff and create my own creations. And it was through the support packs that we got from the ZA Look that started me to enable me to actually start building these things. So I don't have the very first build I did here. It's quite big, so I was quite ambitious with the very first build, which was a studio in fact, and it was really nice. It was close to home to my background and what I'm used to, and then the bug bit, and I just kept on building, and this was actually the second one I built, which was inspired by a visit to a Froyo shop. I can probably open it up.
Is this out of your imagination?
So this is all out of my imagination. This is all created.
Wow, so you never bought the set, you made this yourself?
These are all custom built. Yeah, this is the only one in the world right now. So this is my bookstore and Froyo shop. And what I like about these is they're all inspired by stories. They're all inspired by personal experiences, little tales behind them, and they all tell stories on the outside and on the inside. The Froyo shop was inspired by a friend and I, who we went to one of the local Froyo shops, and I just thought, like, this is a cool experience, this is fun. And I had a lot of these pink tiles and just decided, you know what, go for it, just build something fun. I should actually open it up and you guys can see what it looks inside, because there's an incredible amount of detail on the inside as well. So the upper level of this particular one is a bookstore, inspired by a bookstore.
And how long does it take you to build something like this?
It depends. Sometimes it's quite fast. If I feel quite inspired, it'll take a week or so. Other times, depending on the availability of parts and so on, it can take up to a month to build. This particular one took a month to build just because I had to get certain parts and certain pieces in place before I could actually build it. The one you're looking at on this side is a Turkish bazaar, and it's based on my memories from Turkey in a visit which I did.
Oh, really?
So
this is from your own experience?
These are all from experiences,
and
they all tell little tales, which is absolutely amazing. And the upper part of this particular one is like almost like a seashell lounge or like a restaurant where you can sit down and have some dinner and then just get together and just chill with friends. And the lower story on this one is all about the bazaar and all based on the memories from the Turkish bazaar, basically. So you've got different elements like a Turkish towel shop with Turkish lights, some fruits, some spices and perfumes and things like that. So that's what I love about these. They are so personal, and you can get a lot of detail in a very, very, very small space. It's just amazing.
Sometimes I've noticed that I've done a whole sweep of the building and I didn't have the camera on the screen. And as I'm congratulating myself for my great camera work, I realized that no one saw anything except my arms swinging around in circles. It's fantastic.
And I mean, I started with the really big models, and eventually it sort of narrowed down. We had like a little competition running in December for the ZA look, and this is the little model I came up with, and I was absolutely amazed just in terms of how much detail you can get in a really, really small space.
What was the challenge there?
This was, I think, it was all about Christmas, just creating like a little
Christmas centerpiece,
like a true Christmas centerpiece, and everything around that. And then the other challenges we had was creating little vignettes, which is a little tiny little build on a 8x8 base plate, as high as you want to go. But again, just the amount of incredible detail you can get in such a tiny little space is absolutely mind-blowing. If I go to this one, and they all tell little stories as well. This
you love the storytelling
I
side
love the storytelling about it.
What is the story here?
Amazing.
Tell us about the story about this one.
So this is just a snippet of like a snapshot in time. I would imagine the guy in the bottom mining cart, he stole some jewels somewhere, and he's Indiana Jones darting down the rails, getting away. And we've got like this female character at the top smelling a rose, and she's blissfully unaware of all the turmoil that's down below. So that's the little story this one tells. This one is just like a snapshot of like a blacksmith, sort of just a medieval blacksmith hammering away and crafting some weapons and stuff. And then this is also very much a favorite, just like a snapshot of like Batman in a moment that you would never imagine Batman.
Batman on the loo.
So that was just a little bit of fun. Basically.
Batman!
How does that
Having
go,
fun
Tom?
here tonight, man. That's art.
It's art.
Do you think it's art? I look at it and I think,
so.
you know what, that's art.
I think ultimately, if I think about it, I'm a very creative person. The industry I'm in is incredibly creative, but I don't have an outlet like a painter or an artist or someone that can draw or anything like that. And I found my outlet in Lego and actually creating these amazing scenes out of Lego, and it became a canvas for me. And I find that whatever I imagine, I can turn into bricks and I can turn into an actual build, and it's just so much fun that I can't stop. I think everybody that knows me knows that I constantly talk about Lego. I don't think there's a single conversation.
Oh really? Is Lego your life?
That doesn't involve Lego in some way or another.
So when we look at these small vignettes of yours, are there any parts or any part of the build that you're particularly proud of, that you used a part which shouldn't be used in a way that you did?
I think all of them uses parts in unexpected ways. Creating shapes that's unexpected. I mean, just using some. I don't even know what those clips are called, but they're like they're used just to keep the mine cart in place. And just sort of create the ball joints at the bottom. That's what creates the illusion of the cart darting down the track. So it's using parts in that way, and also using a lot of what's called snot bricks, like snot techniques, which is studs not on top. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. So using that to create a lot of texture and things like that. So my builds tend to be filled with texture, especially the later ones.
I got to check the Christmas build out again.
Again, that's a little story. It's a little scene that plays off of the little girl discovering Santa Claus delivering gifts.
Oh, there's the little girl in the corner.
She's like hiding there in the corner.
Ah!
And the cookies.
Saint Nicholas!
You see the cookies?
Yes. Very sweet. I like that. That's my favorite. Yeah, I like that one. Yes, Willi.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Well, Peter's also doing a project called BlockBlaze. You want to tell us about that?
Right, yes. So BlockBlaze started out of the idea of, I've always had the idea of talking to AFOLs and people that really love Lego, but I never really had the platform. And then as I'm creating content for other people through my work and so on, I realized that I actually do have all these tools in place. And that's where the idea sort of sparked, where I decided, you know what, this is it, just got to do it. Start interviewing people, tell their stories. And that is where BlockBlaze was born. And that's how it came about. And it just became a platform for people to talk about their love for Lego. So at the moment, I'm aiming to have one episode a week. We're on episode 3 already. Today's episode was live.
Well done.
Just went live with
Willi
van Esterhuizen.
Yeah.
Yes. So his episode is live right now, and he talks about a lot of the castle builds he does and the medieval builds and his inspiration and.
Oh, you showed me. Is this the video we played?
Yeah.
And then who made?
He came.
I didn't know that when you were telling me that earlier on.
That's what I said. What did you think I made?
I thought, oh wow, I didn't know that. Gee,
The
well
video
done,
with the
Peter.
great production values.
Those are great videos.
Thank you.
Yeah, gee, I should have told you earlier before the show. What wonderful videos. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to watch. Great production value there.
Absolutely.
Oh.
That's what I aim, is to bring production value to.
Yeah, well done.
To people that otherwise wouldn't have a platform.
Where can we find BlockBlaze?
BlockBlaze is on YouTube.
Okay.
If you search for BlockBlaze, you'll find it there. There's also a website, blockblaze.co.za. So you can find us through the web. And we also have a Facebook page. That's Lego BlockBlaze.
Cool.
On Facebook.
Got it. I see people I see laughing faces, so that's obviously laughing at me. If I see laughing faces, I know it's me. I know I'm responsible for that. Let's take a look and see what you've got to say, right? Jackie asks, what's your biggest challenge when building mocks?
My biggest challenge?
Yeah.
Parts. I just can't have enough parts, and I keep on running out of parts. So I think that's my biggest challenge right now is sort of discovering the means of finding parts where I think other mock builders have already got it down to a fine art.
Well, other people are also saying getting bricks. Dean Boardman says getting bricks. Rian Pretorius says amazing looking mock. Ralph says having to break another setup for parts. That's the most difficult part of it. Is it?
I
Really?
think I have a rule. I have the sets that I bought that are kept as sets and they're displayed as sets. And
like you
those
wouldn't dismantle
parts are
Father
not
Christmas over here, would you?
accessible. I mean,
no.
I bought a advent calendars to sort of to part out, and so some of them I do now buy sets. I do now specifically buy sets just to get parts.
Do you know what this reminds me of? You know the Buddhist monks, they make those sand artworks. What are they called?
Peace gardens, is it not?
Or peace gardens.
And, they 4 or 5 Buddhist monks will sit in a circle, they make geometric shapes, and then they scrape sand, different coloured sand.
It's mandalas.
So mandala, sand
Yeah.
mandala. And they spend days and days, and people come along with this intricate design. At the end of it, they just sweep it all out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just meant to show the impermanence of life.
Yeah.
No, nothing's forever. Except I think that one should be.
So the thing is, with a build that size, even if you're going to break it up, you're going to get 100, maybe 120 parts. So it's not worth it really to build up, to break up a smaller build.
I think that we could run a whole show on what should get broken up and what shouldn't, and when to break up and not. We call it the breakup show. Right, Leo Potgieter, hey, welcome Leo, good to have you on board. There's some people we're noticing first names, or at least the first time you're commenting. Welcome and well done, nice to have you on board. The more vocal you are, the more we see you, the more you share this program, the more chance you've got of winning. Tonight we'll be giving 4 of those Lego mugs away that cost like 479 Rand a mug. If you say it through a microphone, it's true. About 279 Rand a mug, somewhere around there, when they're really cool mugs. I've been drinking out of mine for a week now, and I got to tell you that coffee tastes better out of a Lego mug. We'll be giving 4 away before the end of the night. In fact, I see some of the names that were selected are in the room, so don't go anywhere. Let's see who else is on board. Luke Commons. Hey, Luke has been pulling into every show the last couple of weeks. He's been in the diving show, the Happiest Town show, and he keeps coming in and saying, oh, I'm in the wrong show. Cheers, bye. So I know that on a Thursday night, Luke stays. So how's it, Luke? Chris McGee says, great small builds. I love the details. Clinton Valjeau, who owns Javel's hair salons. It's funny, we're talking about hair salons. Clinton used to cut my hair before Shalene, and then I didn't see Clinton for a while, and then I just landed up at her place one day, and then I said to her, should I have told Clinton? And she said, yeah, you've committed a cardinal sin. You can't just go from one hairdresser to another. So Clinton, I hope you're still my friend. At the moment, I don't even know if I've got a hairdresser, as you can tell from the state of my hair. But he's on board, and he's a really great guy. Rian Pretoria says, really cool builds, getting so much story in such a little build. Malishna Governor says, those builds, the small builds are so awesome. So the small builds are getting a lot of recognition here tonight. Zaptoid says, the pure passion from this man. Boom. Dean Boardman, awesome builds. Ian van der Walt says, they're really good. I haven't done very much mock building at all. I really admire those that can do it. Rian says, BlockBlaze is cool. BlockBlaze address is up. Willi's put it up. Chris McGee says, parting out sets is a lot of work, but necessary for mocks in some cases. Zaptoid says, I like mugs. I wonder whether Zap is actually on the list. Maybe, maybe not. That's as much as I can say right now. Stephen van der Merwe says, oh yeah, the mugs.
I want to say, Chris is joining us in studio in 2 weeks. Chris has built an absolutely incredible, one of my favorite mocks ever of Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings. In a micro scale figure. Micro scale is, using really 1 by 1, 1 by 2 bricks to create something terrific. So I'm really looking forward to that. Jackie says, I like big mugs and I cannot lie.
My kind of guy. Girl.
Yeah, so next up I want to talk about technique, and Eben is really one of the most talented technique builders or technique mock designers.
So we're going from small builds to
really massive stuff.
Makulubas!
Maybe Eben, you can tell us about this. Is it a Land Rover?
It's actually a Jeep. It's a mock of a Jeep Wrangler. It's basically the main thing I do. I specifically specialize in technique building only. I think the reason that started was I just had to get to a point where I had to decide, do I either want to build system or build technique? And I preferred the technique side because I'm very technical and I like the moving bits and figuring out how to build and put together the mechanical components of it. This is a mock I built. It was actually it originated as in the year 2000. There was a off-roader that Lego released as a set. It was like a metallic green off-roader with big balloon tires. And while I was rebuilding this set, because I haven't built it in a long time, I thought, the body design of it wasn't very nice. So I didn't really like it that much. And I thought, maybe I can change the... I'll show some of the functions now. Maybe I'll change the body design a little bit, and then it just evolved completely. And I decided, I'm gonna redo it. And
you went out of control.
And I just built the Jeep at the end of the day. So I'm actually a very big Land Rover fan. So it's almost against my religion to build a Jeep. But anyway, there's a lot of Jeep fans out there, so I decided I wanted to build a Jeep. It's something I haven't done myself yet. So I just built it. It took me about 7 hours to complete 100%, and it's got a lot of functions. It's got also the hand of God steering on the top here. The inside cab steering works as well. It's got a 5-speed gearbox with reverse. You can see the pistons work there when you push it forward. It's got 4-wheel drive. It's got independent suspension, and then a lot of detail. I like to build a lot of detail into my technique builds, and I think that's why I end up building at the scale that I end up building, because to put in more detail in technique, you end up needing to increase the scale quite a bit, and that's where the system guys have got a big advantage. They can put a lot more detail in a smaller space. But with technique, detail also comes with movement and functioning parts, and to get that to work correctly, you end up building components that tends to be a little bit bigger, and that's where it ends being, at the scale that I build. But yeah, you can see it's got winch, it's got LED lights, it's got the high lift jack at the back on the spare wheel, it's got recovery points, same as you would find on a normal one. The doors can open on the side.
This is incredible.
It's just something I enjoy doing a lot.
What was the biggest challenge? I mean, you say you built this in 7 hours. Was that 7 hours from scratch?
Yeah, it was 7 hours from scratch. I think I normally get when I have an idea, I do a little bit of research online. I basically build all my builds just from either a photo of the real thing, just to get some detail, and I try and get some technical drawings on the specific model I draw to try and get actual sizes. But the biggest challenge with any mock is to try and determine the correct scale that you want to build in. Now, with Lego, unfortunately, we are very limited to the tire sizes that are created or manufactured by Lego itself. You can't really... You can, there are guys online that I've seen that actually build a solid wheel out of system parts so that it looks like a wheel, but it's not really functionable, and it's more a display model. So my biggest challenge always is to find the scale that matches the actual tires that are available. And through that, it sort of guides or forces me into a certain size, because certain tires are also only available in certain designs, and you need to try and get a tire. It doesn't help you put a Formula 1 slick tire on a Jeep. You want to get something that looks a little bit more rough terrain, that actually fits with the model itself. So that is probably the biggest challenge I always find with any of my mock builds.
So before we continue, I want to remind our viewers to share this video, and we'll have something to give away next week. We don't know what we're going to give away yet. Tom said it's a surprise.
Tom London's half-drunk Coca-Cola. No?
No? Maybe something cool. We'll find something cool to give away. To be eligible for the prize, share this video.
A lock of Willi's silver hair. No?
Not.
Damn it.
Yeah.
No takers.
Yeah, we've got 12 shares already. Thank you, guys.
Alright, so who else have we got here? We got Jackie saying, wait, a serious question. What is the hand of God?
Okay, the hand of God is a acronym for, HOG is an acronym for hand of God. It just means if you look at the scale of a model, okay, and you see your own hand in one-to-one scale to the model, you can almost picture it, it's the hand of God that steers the model. So that I guess that's where the saying came from. So it means that it's got a steering position, either a knob or a wheel or something that you can turn, that you can actually
on the roof or the dashboard,
on the roof or on the outside of the car, that gives it more playability. That you can steer it from the outside, and instead of trying to get your hand on the inside of the cab, you will find it on a lot of trucks. It's behind the cab or something that you can actually push it, and it just allows you to play with it more. If you wanted to play with it, yeah.
Kerry Jerling says, hi Tom and Willi, check your PMs. Julianne Schmidt said, that's super amazing, what talent. Warren Pridgeon said, the Jeep is pretty epic. Stephen said, hey Warren, now our conversation's gonna start. Luke Collins says, Jeepers, that's really neat. Xavier Arnold's on board. Zaptoid says, pretty jacked. Now to check if the jack works, says Stephen van der Merwe. And everyone wants one of the mugs. And Stephen says, already have your hair. Stephen says he already has your hair. Is that right?
Well, yes. So this is a model that came out of a Lego box. Well, basically, this is a modification.
No. This is actually some of the technique fans out there might know of the rough terrain crane set that Lego released at the end of the big red at the end of last year. It's set 402282, and you will always find, like you mentioned when you spoke about your Bugatti, you always find guys out there that do modifications on the actual Lego sets that are released. And Lego always have to consider, limiting certain functions and parts on it because it has to be sellable. But then afterwards, you get the guys that come and they do ultimate creations or ultimate modifications on the set on how they would actually like it to be if the parts were unlimited. So when I looked at the crane the first time, there were a lot of comments online about certain functions of it that's not really as realistic as the real crane. And when I also bought the set, it's an excellent set to buy. It's an excellent set to build. The functionality on it is really nice. It's got a really good playability and a very nice part selection. But also, I wanted to change certain things. And so this is an actual mock. It's also my own creation, built completely from scratch. There's no instructions for it.
Level.
This is incredible.
It's still in progress. It's not 100% finished yet. I'm aiming to have it finished by our next expedition expo that we have as a ZA club. And so yes, the challenge that I wanted to do is I wanted to improve the functionality of the actual outriggers. I will show it to you now.
Okay.
And I also wanted to build the thing full remote control. This thing has got a few extra features that the other one doesn't. It's got a suspension, I think it's actually on this side. It's got a live axle that actually functions as the real crane. And it will at a later stage have a crab functionality as well, where, look, if you get to technical terms on the cranes, these cranes normally have different steering functions. On normal driving mode, you've got the different axles that turn at opposite sides. It gives it a very tight turning circle capability. And then it's got a crab function where both axles turn in the same direction at the same angle to move sideways or at an angle to get into tighter spaces. I'm not very happy with the current design that I have in here at the moment. I'm using the Lego Power Function servo motors. I find it a bit limited and not as accurate as I want. But I am busy developing a first of a kind steering system that is mechanical that I haven't seen out there yet. So I will be sharing some of that information in the future. I'm also actually doing a full instruction set for this.
That's cool.
I will be loading this on Rebrickable, so anybody that wants to then build it with their own parts at the end of the day will be able to download it from Rebrickable. I will announce it when it is available. But yeah, I can show you some functions.
Through the design and show us some of the functions.
This what makes this interesting also is I actually use the S brick. Now this is a product, a little smart brick that is in there that was specifically developed by non-Lego company, but specifically for the Lego Power Function setup. So this works with a Bluetooth signal that actually connects to an app on an iPad or a tablet or on a phone. And you can basically design your profile any way you want, and you can connect up to 64 of these S-bricks on one profile. So it gives you a massive load of channels that you can use to make this functional.
Is that 64 channels or 64 S-bricks?
64 S-bricks.
So this would be 64 times
4 channels that
That's
you can
incredible.
have on
and
a bolt.
The limitation Lego gives us with the infrared is then 4.
Well,
4 times 2, I guess.
It's got 2 channels per infrared sensor that Lego produces. Now the problem with the infrared, it's a bit of an older technology. They're actually busy launching a new product that will be coming out of at the end of the year, which is called Power Up. They actually launched it in certain sets already, but there's a more advanced one that they're going to be linking to a tablet or an iPhone as well for the interactive side of it. But the main advantage about the S-brick, it doesn't have to have line of sight. The big disadvantage of the Lego infrared sensor is that you have to have line of sight. Now the problem with that is when your model starts getting complicated and you want to build this thing or hide it inside the model, it's not possible with the infrared sensor. The moment you lose line of sight, you can't control that block anymore. With the Bluetooth S-brick, you can hide it on the inside of your model. You can hide the wiring and everything, and it actually looks a lot neater and it gives you more options. So just to show you,
here we go.
I've actually just designed a little basic layout on my iPad, on my tablet here. for a remote control, and basically, yeah, it controls all the parts on my crane. So, as in the real crane, this is one of the big improvements that I wanted to make on this crane, is to have telescopic outriggers that doesn't exist on the actual current Lego model. Now, as on the real crane, you put the feet down under the outrigger pillar, and then this thing actually picks itself up off the ground.
Oh, look at that! It's
Wow.
completely
Yeah.
Yes, it's strong enough to actually function as the real crane. Okay, I didn't put the feet out on this side. But anyway, so
I would
there you
like to
can see.
welcome the Dean of Henley Business School, John Foster Pegley. John, we're talking Lego tonight. You're going to love this.
So yeah, you can see the multi-steering there. It's got, and it also functions through the remote control. So yeah, the end goal is to have the full superstructure on here. There will be a big improvement on the actual boom section as well. That will make it a bit more realistic, similar to the real crane. So yeah, that is always something I like to do. Look at the current sets that come out and either build my own complete mock around that, or do some upgrades on the actual set. You'll find many guys online that, like Willi said on a few episodes ago, they're very quick to release upgrades on some of the sets, and you can normally download the plans or the instructions for that. But I wanted to do quite a few different upgrades, so I decided, listen, I'm going to rebuild this model completely, and there are a few similarities to the original set. The wheelbase is exactly the same, the length is exactly the same. It uses some...
So you've improved it.
excuse me. Basically it's an improvement of the Lego set itself, yes.
So I'd like to move this one away, and maybe you want to talk to you about the big set that you are busy building. This is the biggest technique or biggest Lego crane that I've ever seen. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So about 10 years ago, for some reason I decided, the next mock that I wanted to build was a big Lego crane. And there are quite a few guys out there that build different models and different scale Lego cranes. It's very popular to build lattice boom type cranes because it's a fairly easy thing to build structurally. And so I decided I wanted to build a big crane. I like
these
cranes.
drawings I'm looking at now.
Yeah, that's actually some of my design drawings. I don't know if you want to show the actual photo of the real crane that I'm looking at, that I wanted to build. It's a scale model.
That one wouldn't be there, unfortunately.
All right.
Give us your on a phone, and I'll hold it up to one of the cameras.
I don't have it on my phone.
Okay. I don't know if you want to search. Okay, I'll find one now.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a scale model of a Grove or a Manitoba Grove 7550 crane. So it's a 750.
Hold on, I did have that.
Ton. Yes, I did give it to you.
Send it to me. Hold on a moment. Hold on. Yeah, I've got it.
There we go.
Don't panic. No, I don't know why anybody panics. There we go. There's the crane.
So that's the actual crane, the real life one. It's a 550 ton all-terrain crane, a mobile crane. And what I liked about this specific crane is it's got a very specific design, and it is not a crane that is being built by anybody in the Lego community yet. So I decided this is the crane I wanted to build. So about 10 years ago I had the idea. I started playing around with some concepts, because that's the thing about these Technic builds. You have to play with concepts first. You have to develop concepts, you have to develop mechanisms, and that is a big challenge. And that's the part that I must say I enjoy the most. I really have a lot of fun sitting with this problem, finding a solution, combining certain parts in a certain way to create a realistic function and have a structural stability to be able to handle the weight.
But now, talking about this big crane, you mentioned earlier that your scale is limited to the wheels you use.
Yes.
And then, as a Lego purist, I prefer to use only Lego parts. But like you,
Yes.
I don't mind S-brick, and like you, I don't mind to use other tires. Do you want to tell us about
So
the tires?
yes, Tom, I don't know if you want to just have a look at this on the camera. these are a few of the actual Lego original Lego tires available. This is the scale for the Mack Anthem truck, for the guys that know it out there. This is a scale for the Mercedes Acros Technic set.
And the 42009 crane.
The 42009, which was a very, very popular Lego set crane. And this is the tire that came with the Lego Unimog truck as well as the Volvo front-end loader. Excuse me. So I originally started in a scale that uses this tire, and I very, very quickly realized that with the detail that I wanted to include, it didn't work. And then this was this was one of the bigger wheels that was available at the time. This wheel wasn't released yet by Lego. So then a couple of years after I started playing around with ideas, this wheel was released, and that opened a lot of doors for me. So I had to increase my scale to the scale 1 to 12, and I could add a lot more detail. But one of the big things that I wanted to get right with this model was the boom. And on all the videos that I've been able, and all the models that I've been able to find of guys that built Lego cranes out there, I've never found anybody that built a Lego boom that has more than 4 telescopic stages. 4 was the limit that I could find. So I decided the real crane has got 5 telescopic stages. I wanted to build 5 telescopic stages. Excuse me. So I had to come up with an idea or a design that will be able to handle the scale, and it gives me a realistic enough shape. So I came up with a completely different way of building a shape compared to what is normally used in the Lego designs. It's a very, very part-consuming design.
Wow.
And so yeah, this is one of the prototype pieces. It's only a portion of the actual outer sleeve of the crane. And yeah, it is structurally very strong. It's actually very, very strong. It's not too heavy for its size, but yes, it uses a lot of parts.
How long would this outer sleeve be then?
On the scale that I ended up going, it would be, the sleeve will be about 1.6, 1.7 meters long. Okay, now I'm 1.8 meters tall, so it is a little bit shorter than what I am standing up.
Wow,
that's the one sleeve, and then it'll have 5 sleeves on the, or 4 sleeves, 5 sleeves in total on the inside. When it's extended, it'll be close to 7 meters tall.
Jesus,
that's 2 stories high or so.
Yes. So my problem with this wheel was when I ended up finishing or coming to a design that I wanted to use on the actual boom, the inner sleeve could only go to a certain smaller size. You couldn't reduce the size with the design that I was using. And then the total size of the boom was too big for the wheel. The scale didn't match up. So I found a company online that designs scale model tires for the remote control industry. This is a company called RC4WD. They're actually a company in America, and they manufactured very, very high detail rubber tires. And I found a few other guys online, Lego builders, that actually use some of these wheels on some of their mocks. Cyril is one of them. He's a very famous mock builder online in the online community in Poland. And I saw some of the tires that he used, and so yes, I decided, listen, this is not a wheel that is available as a Lego product, but it fits on the Lego rims. It's original Lego hub. It actually works perfectly on the rim. And you'll actually find that on many of the other scales as well. This company produces a tire that actually fits on that scale with a very realistic design. So I ended up with this tire. So if you put where's your minifigure, Tom?
Yeah, he's busy broadcasting there next to
Yes, so if you look at the scale of your minifigure compared to the scale of the tire, let me get the balance right there.
That's my problem in real life as well, by the way.
You can see the size of the wheel compared to the size of a minifigure. And and this crane is going to use 14 of these tires. So the total length of this crane, just the carrier piece, the chassis piece, is about 2 meters long.
So talking about parts, Luke wants to know how many parts have you ordered for this? Or are you
I probably have about 70% of the parts already. I'm estimating it's going to be close around 100,000 parts for this crane.
100,000 parts.
Just the boom itself has got 26,000 pieces in it.
I'd like the people who are watching to leave in the comments just what is your biggest build that you've done. How many parts have you used in your biggest build? Just to put in perspective, 100,000 parts in one model is insane.
It's insane. It's a massive scale.
So and that's mainly why this project has been taking so long. Like I said, I've been sort of planning and developing it over 10 years. But if I actually count the actual build time, the actual build time that I've spent on this is probably only about 3 months in total. But the biggest issue with this is sourcing the quantity of parts. So, and it's costly. So you have to do it over time. It's not something that you can just go, if you think about, we speak about an average cost for a part at a good price is around a part, and that's for smaller elements. This has got a lot of bigger elements on it. So if we look at 100,000 parts, and that's not even taking into account all the motors, all the battery packs,
so there's
all
a
of
lot
that.
of money going into something like this.
So yeah, it's got a big investment, but it's something that I would really like to finish, and I've got quite a few people that's excited with me to do it, and I'm hoping to have it done within the next 2 years.
Jackie asks Eben, what do you do for a living?
I've been working in the oil and gas industry for the last 10 years or so. I've always been in the construction industry.
So this is in your blood,
I do a lot of rigging and lifting, and yes, that's sort of where the passion and interest for cranes came along. I don't know, I just find cranes fascinating and very interesting.
Well, you're not the only one, because John Foster Petty, Dean of Henley Business School, says, hi, I'm watching from Munich and I'm fascinated.
Okay.
Joe Kirsten says, I can listen to Eben for hours. Not only is he super knowledgeable about the items he builds, his passion for technique and his patience with the public is incredible. Hashtag salt of the earth human. We started a new hashtag. Ian van der Walt says, very nice. Again, can we mention the Liebherr set coming later, which utilizes the new Smart Hub technology? I wonder if that is the Lego Group's answer to the S-Brick.
Yes, I think that is probably what they're aiming for. It's a new licensed product that Lego is doing in collaboration with Liebherr. It is actually a very nice piece of mining equipment. It's based on the Liebherr 9800 excavator. It's a massive machine in real life. And yes, they have the Smart Hub system as part of this model. I actually heard this week that they've actually delaying the release of it by a few months. It was originally supposed to be released in August.
Okay.
It's been pushed back to October now. And I'm not exactly sure what the reason for that is, but yes, I think that is probably what the aim is for that, is to actually have a product that is competitive with the S-Brick. And we're very excited.
Yeah.
We're very excited about it. It's got a lot of new parts, new elements, new colors. But yes, I think it's going to be probably one of the more expensive sets that Lego released as Lego Technic sets.
Rian Pretoria says, Eben must be the most dedicated guy. Shanae Lee Storbeck says, wow. Shanae Lee Storbeck says, flip it. Luke Collins says, how many parts do you order from Bricklink? I've asked that question. Madness, says someone. They have a display. What? Chris McGee? I think that's a conversation going on between two people. Counterbalance to the 7-meter beam? Asked Xavier Arnold.
Yes, I gave you one photo of. It's a grey piece that I built. Okay, maybe I didn't send you the photo, but I had to design ballast weights for this thing specifically. So I will eventually. I actually want to release this as a sort of do a big reveal on it. So I don't always want to give away too many parts and too many design elements of it. But it's got massive counterweights. The whole thing about a real crane is it's all about balance. So if you can balance the 7-meter boom, and you can have a big point that you can balance it on, then you can make it work. In real life as well, you have cranes that can pick up 10,000 tons.
So it's just engineering,
and it's all about balance. It's got the load on the one side and the ballast weight on the other side, and that was one of the other big challenges.
I'm becoming like a Lego owner now. I take my piece of Lego and turn it back. Yeah.
So one of the other big problems that I had on the side of Lego was to design the turntable of the actual crane.
Wow.
And so I had to go and find a way of designing a turntable, and it actually took a few years to get to the correct design. At the end of the day, I designed a bearing that works around one of the Lego gears that are available now, and this bearing is literally just a turntable that'll spread the weight of the superstructure, and this will just run between two flat surfaces, and it'll just create a frictionless area for this whole superstructure
And
to
you
turn
designed
on.
this?
This I designed, and yeah, this is all built from original Lego pieces, and yeah, that's it's actually one of the breakthrough moments that I had, and yeah, I'm very, very happy about this design. Here is another element just to give you some scale if you want to put your Lego minifig on it. This is actually the winch block, or the hook that some people call it, on the crane. And if you look at, compared to Tom's sig fig there, this is more or less the size of the actual block that'll be on the crane. So yeah, it's going to be a,
And once
it's
again,
going to be a
that's
big
the crane
boy.
you're building. We put in the picture
That is the
on
crane I'm building, yes. So yeah.
Incredible, yeah. Just incredible detail and incredible engineering going on here, because everything has to work.
Everything has to work,
Can't
and
look
then
good.
it's
got to work good.
That's the one of the nice challenges when you build Technic mocks. Is in real life, if you want a specific part, you have it designed and you have it manufactured. In Lego, we can't just do that. You have to combine elements in specific combinations.
Work with what you got.
And that creates a working element for you. So yeah, it is a nice challenge, and I find that the most interesting part of Technic building. When you build a mock and it's finished and everybody goes ooh and ah, that is nice, but I enjoy the challenge of it. You know, sitting with that problem, developing a solution for that problem, and to try and make it as realistic and functionable as the real thing.
Now, Willi, one of the things I forgot to do as we turn our attention back to Peter for just a moment is put the pictures of Peter's wonderful creations.
All right.
Excuse me, I couldn't stop that one, sorry. On screen. And you see these, if you go to the Lego Expos, we saw some of these at the Springs Expo recently. If you can see upside down, what are we busy looking at?
So those are all 5 the modulars I've built to date, all put together. So
are these modulars we're looking at?
They modulars.
Have you got a corner cafe? Paul Rotherham's looking for one.
A corner cafe? I don't have one. No, unfortunately not.
I know the value of a corner cafe. I worked that out. 60 grand on the open market for a corner cafe.
So yeah, that's the whole street as it stands at the moment.
Sure.
And they're all little modulars. That's the Chinese, my Chinese restaurant. And that's the front entrance to the museum. So that's also a shot of the second story of the museum. So there's a few more shots of that. I think there's a wide shot of it a little bit further on.
Okay, I'll keep going.
So that's just some shots from the bazaar you're looking at right now. So the Turkish bazaar. That is the studio, the outside of the studio.
That's the bookshop.
That's a bookshop. A few shots of that. And that's the Freo shop inside. That's just one of the exhibits inside of the museum. And we've also
these museums. Okay, so that's a museum exhibit.
So that's the museum one again. That's the actual museum. That's
that's the wider shot.
That's the wide shot. So this is actually quite a big, tall model.
And then this is inside.
That's quite high.
Got it.
So yeah, these are just
Rian says they look super, Peter Furstenburg, well done. Dina Torta says modulars look amazing. Everyone's saying Peters were awesome to have at our display. Also says Barry K, and a whole bunch of people just really enjoying. I think we did the right thing. So listen, have we done the right thing? Bringing builds in and getting the camera into it, and is that what you want to see? Because we had a feeling that's what we want.
I must say, in what's tonight, the 8th episode. I've never spoken as little as tonight.
No, you didn't have to do much broadcasting. You were lucky.
I didn't know. Well, I'm waiting for my 9th episode, then I can,
No, then you're allowed to call yourself a co-host. Listen, we've run over time. We've been having so much fun.
Are we allowed to?
We have, and it's okay. We're
just a bit of news. We want to talk about just some events coming up.
Yeah, what's coming up?
Have
we still got to give 4 mugs away?
What? Yeah, we still have
You
to.
have to do that as well.
Tom
yeah.
made a draw. We took the
I've got the
eligible.
4 names.
We took the eligible sharing votes, and if you've won before, well, toughies, you're not going to win again. You know,
Yeah,
you're
there's,
going to win again.
there's a 3-month moratorium on winners.
We decided.
Yeah, right now, in fact.
So Pops Toys is having the Lego Robotics Expo 25 and 26 May. This is in North Meat Square, Benoni. You can visit popstoys.co.za for details. And then the WRO Gauteng South Regional event at Stain City 4 Ways, 26 and 27 July. WROSA.co.za for details. Then the winners of the Lego mug that Robert from the Lego Certified store in Sandton City gave us last week to give away. He will be couriering.
Yeah, try say that fast.
Sorry,
I'm not even going to try it. You'll be sending them to you.
Yeah, sponsored by the Lego shop in Sandton City, and then soon another one opening in your guys' valley.
Yes, in Mainland.
In Mainland.
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Cool.
We're
All right,
waiting
would you
for
like
our
to know
press
who
pass,
the-
Robert.
Okay, so here we go. You're waiting for... Okay, we can give the mugs away.
Yeah.
And now, using our multi-million rand multi-capable effects generator. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na!
You have the names.
Joe Kirsten is our first Lego mug winner. Luke Cummins is our second Lego mug winner. Come on down, Clark Batterson. You are our third Lego mug winner. And Julianne Schmidt brings up the rear.
Yeah, so I know where to
Number
get hold
4.
of most of them. If you could send me a message via Facebook, just what your delivery address is, either home or office, with a phone number, so I could pass it on to Robert. He will
There we go.
courier
Get
them
hold
out
of
to
Willi
you.
via message. The DM Willi, Joe Kirsten, Luke Cummins, Clark Patterson, Julianne Smith. You are our Lego mug winners. Those Lego mugs, there are 4 of them. Each one is valued at 2,799 rand.
Something.
Say it
Exactly.
through a microphone, it's true. No, I'm joking. About 250 bucks worth. And everything tastes better out of the Lego mug. Trust me.
Yes.
So I want to thank
agree.
my guests, Peter and Eben, for coming to share their experience with us. A gentleman, the response has been terrific. Thank you for bringing your builds and sharing
It's a
your
pleasure.
your passion.
Thanks.
Open invitation to come visit us anytime. If you want to give a shout out and let us know who would you like to see on Around the Block.
Ooh, putting me on the spot
Yeah.
here.
Nominate a future guest.
Nominate a future guest.
I've got a friend, Ian Kuchlenberg. He's also a very up and coming Technic builder, and he's actually working on a very, very interesting mock of a Second World War barge crane,
Okay.
and he's doing very well on the design of that. And I'm sure you'll be interested in coming to chat to you guys about that.
Ian is booked for the show for the 6th of June.
Oh,
Okay, well,
He'll
that's
join us
fantastic.
here.
Okay, great.
Upcoming, as I've mentioned, Ferdi is coming next week, then Chris on the 30th, Ian on the 6th, and on the 13th of June we've got Rian Pretorius. Now Rian is extremely nervous about coming. He's
That's all right. You can see everyone's happy here. Was it that bad? It wasn't that bad.
No, it was
Yeah,
very
it
fun,
was all
very
right.
fun, yes.
Like a visit to the dentist, like root canal. What are you worried about? Oh, that's fantastic. Listen, I just want to thank the people who put the show together. I just sit here cracking jokes. But I need to say thank you to Willi Badenhorst, adult fan of Lego, and from the next show, official co-host, once you're 9 in. Hey, it all starts happening. Peter Furstenburg, thank you for coming in tonight. AFOL and BlockBlaze producer. Check out Peter's videos on YouTube. Look for BlockBlaze. They really, really are lovely videos. And Eben Esterhuizen, thanks for coming in. AFOL Technic specialist. I know you wowed everyone away with your builds tonight. Thank you for coming
pleasure.
in from the other side of the belt, eh? You
Badenhorst.
Victoria side. So have a safe trip. And,
Thank you very much.
Thank you
hope
for
to see
having
you
us.
soon.
Thank you.
Listen, Luke, Carsten, Shanae. Carsten's coming at the end of it. Carsten, you were just in time to see your company name on the end of the program, by the way. Kerry Jerning, Dina Torte, Stephen van der Merwe, Rian Pretorius, Joe Kirsten's going woohoo, he won a mug. Ralph Steele, Ian van der Wald, Sean Ney, Chris McGee, Clark, Barry K, Julianne Schmidt, Rian Pretorius, Luke Cummins, Zap Toyd, and more who have joined us tonight. Thank you for being here. Listen, we can't wait to see you next week. Same time, same place, 7:10 Central Africa time on a Thursday. It's time for Around the Block. So we're out of here. Goodbye from all of us. I miss you already.
stop.